The food we eat isn't just a form of fuel for our body, it also nourishes our brain. Your choice of food has the power to boost, detox, and maintain your brain's health, but it can also increase cellular waste, chemical loads, and inflammation, putting you at risk of cognitive decline and potential diseases that follow. If you're watching this, it's probably because you're wondering how exactly the food you eat affects your brain. Well, don't go anywhere. In this video, we'll share how the 5 most common food groups affect your brain and what food you should eat to keep it healthy. But before we get started, can you do us a favor and like this video? Ring the bell for future notifications and make sure you subscribe to Brain Health Smarts for more videos. Plus, stick around to find out how you can get a free gift. And now let's get started by breaking down the 5 common food groups that influence your brain, starting with number 5, how carbohydrates affect your brain. Carbohydrates are one of the primary sources of food our body taps into for glucose and energy. And as it turns out, our brain needs about 20% of the energy we consume daily. The brain needs glucose to produce serotonin, a hormonal function that regulates mood, boosts memory function, and improves brain performance. Various studies have observed that consuming carbohydrates and glucose can improve cognitive functions, particularly short-term memory and attention. However, eating too many carbohydrates can actually be detrimental for your brain. And this is because carbohydrates, especially when they are refined, influence inflammation. A review points out that regular consumption of refined carbohydrates can be toxic to cognitive functions. Overall, the brain does need carbohydrates to function properly, but not all carbohydrates are beneficial. Choosing complex carbohydrates that include whole grains and fiber-rich foods and limiting your intake of refined carbohydrates is best to nourish your brain without inflaming it. Number 4, how fat affects your brain. Our brain is made up of 60% fat and as a result, feeds heavily on fatty foods to regenerate brain cells, function, and stay healthy. Fat within the diet can come in 2 ways, saturated and unsaturated fat. Saturated fat is a trans fat found in meat, butter, cheese, or oil and can be extremely detrimental for overall health. Unsaturated fat can be found in fatty fish, avocados, olive oil, and nuts. This type of fat includes polyunsaturated fatty acids that are essential and healthy for both the body and the brain. A large review has observed that consuming polyunsaturated fatty acids can improve the cortical structure and the functions of the brain. More studies on omega-3 fatty acids in particular have found that eating food rich in this type of fat can significantly boost memory and cognitive functions. Overall, fat can have a positive and negative impact on the brain. Eating polyunsaturated fat and avoiding saturated fat will help you keep your brain healthy. Number 3, how caffeine affects your brain. Coffee or tea is often part of our daily routine, from the moment we wake up to our afternoon pick-me-up. This is because these types of drinks come with caffeine, a natural stimulant that engages the brain and nervous system. When we drink caffeine, the stimulant blocks the effects of adenosine, a neurotransmitter that makes us feel tired. As a result, caffeine can benefit the mood and brain functions. A study found that participants who consumed 37.5 to 450 milligrams of caffeine improved alertness, short-term recall, and reaction time. Other studies reported that regularly consuming coffee can lower the risk of depression by 13%. However, experts recommend limiting caffeine consumption to 2 cups per day, and too much caffeine can come with side effects for the brain, including irritability, anxiety, insomnia, and nervousness. In short, caffeine can be beneficial for your brain as long as you limit your daily consumption. Carbohydrates, fats, and caffeine are 3 of the most common things we find in our diet, but what other food groups also have a strong influence on your brain? We're about to share 2 more, but before we do, are you ready for a free gift? Discover the foods that increase the risk of mental health disorders and the ones that boost memory, enhance mental focus, and ease depression by downloading your free copy of Brain Food Secrets, the 15 worst and best foods for your brain. Claim your free gift by clicking the link in the description below. And now let's look at another food group with number 2, how proteins affect your brain. The brain is made primarily of fat and water and loves to feed on glucose to function. There isn't much protein in the brain, but that doesn't mean our gray matter doesn't need protein to function properly. In fact, the neurons communicate with each other by using protein. Foods rich in protein include lean meat, fish, beans, eggs, cheese, and nuts. A comprehensive review pointed out that eating a high-protein diet modulates the activity of the brain's reward system, and as a result, increases mood. However, not eating enough protein can have negative effects and impact brain development and neuron concentration. so make sure to eat plenty of protein. It is recommended to consume between 46 to 56 grams per day. Along with protein, another food group we need to look at is number 1, how probiotics affect your brain. It is no secret that there is a communication pathway between the gut and the brain. This is called the gut-brain axis, and it coordinates our response to stress and the activation of the brain's limbic system. The gut is filled with bacteria and needs to feed on probiotics to remain healthy. When the gut lacks probiotics, it can become inflamed and its function impacted. The more chronic this inflammation can become, the more risks there are for it to impact brain health. A review of 31 trials looked at the effect of probiotics on dementia and found that consuming probiotics could significantly improve cognitive functions, including memory, spatial and non-spatial learning, among participants. More studies also pointed out that probiotics are beneficial against inflammation. Overall, our brain needs to eat plenty of nutrients from various food groups in order to stay healthy. And while some of the food we eat can also have a negative impact on our brain, consuming a healthy and balanced diet will allow you to protect your brain from cognitive decline and maintain its health. The food you eat has an impact on your brain, and it is up to you to ensure it is a positive one. And now, we want to hear from you. What has surprised you about food in the brain? Share your thoughts with our community in the comments below. And before you go, remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit the alert bell to stay up to date with us. Plus, don't forget to download your free gift by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. We hope you have a brain-boosting day.